Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 12th of March, 2024. Coming up this Tuesday rant with the CRUSTY podcast. Oh my goodness, CBC pay hikes. And of course, my ranting and raging and bitching and whining over the tax scheme and more pay raises coming our way. More for them, not so much for us. Listener and viewer discretion may be advised because I might smoke a cigarette or two and drop an F-bomb or just say some really bad words and make funny faces. All that and more come to the podcast. Please stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the CRUSTY CANUCK podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's CRUSTY.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this beautiful Tuesday rant for 12th of March, 2024, the CRUSTY CANUCK podcast. This episode is also brought to you in part by and supported by the Veterans for Freedom Network. That's right, stand to and stay tuned for Veterans for Freedom TV. See yours truly, hopefully on this network sometime in the near future. So stand by for more information on that, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, CRUSTY CANUCK. My apologies for not being here this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I was detained. I was actually doing some work for my in-laws. My wife and I took a road trip down south of the province to see our in-laws, to see how everything was going. And there is some issues there, but I'll save that for a later date. Nonetheless, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. Share this content all over social media platforms. And to my YouTube subscribers out there, please double check your subscription bell. Make sure you're still subscribed to the show. I know there's lots of rumors and some evidence out there of shadow banning. So please just double check your connection, double check your subscription, all that good stuff to see if you're part of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, carrying on with this episode. It is number 266 episodes. Oh my God. Right. CBC pay hikes and more taxes. If you've heard me rant and rage and ramble on already in the last couple episodes about taxes, but it's still looming in the world of the Canadian working class person, all persons, all colors and creeds. That's right. Because come this April 1st, ladies and gentlemen, taxes are going up. That's right. Carbon tax, income tax, and of course the MPs get a glorious pay increase. Oh, smack my ass, call me Judy. Here we go again. With more money going out to the top bigwigs while the rest of us still effing struggle. Isn't that just fantastic? Said nobody. Anyway, there's a little monologue I want to put on here for you, ladies and gentlemen. It comes from the likes of a Mr. Peter Finch, who passed away back in January of 1977. However, he was a classically trained Shakespearean actor from Britain, and he won an Academy Award for this role of his in a movie called Network. Quite the interesting monologue. And I highly suggest you all listen to it, ladies and gentlemen, and take into consideration how he explains the dire situation of that time. Now, in the 70s, there was economic strife, there was an oil crisis, there was wars, there was famine, there was pain, chaos, blah, 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 blah. But you also can kind of see the similarities of that decade and how this movie was presented to the masses and what's going on now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So please take in consideration, listen to exactly what Mr. Finch's character has to say. I think his name was called Harry Beale. He plays a character called Harry Beale, a broadcaster for a defunct kind of or almost poor broadcasting corporation that was trying to find its way. And because of his monologue and everything, he impressed the masses and made lots of money. But you decide, ladies and gentlemen. Like I say, submitted for your approval. You decide and take what you can from this. I've watched this monologue a few times, and it's really, really interesting how it works. But like I say, you decide, ladies and gentlemen. Just cue my end up here, and we shall be good to go.
Things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change.
How many stations does this go out?
You've got to get mad.
67.
Say,
I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta.
I'm not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell, and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Who are you talking to, Herb?
CGG, Atlanta.
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Herb?
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Ted?
But first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
They're yelling in Baton Rouge.
Get up out of your chair.
Son of a bitch! We struck the mother lode!
Stick your head out of the window, open it, and stick your head out and keep yelling and yell, I'm as mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore. Just get up from your chairs right now. Go to
Where
the
you
window.
going? I want to see if anybody's
Just go to the
yelling.
window, open it, and stick your head out and yell and keep yelling. I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore! I'm not gonna take it anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore!
I don't have to tell you things are bad.
Yeah, that was Peter Finch, late great Peter Finch, actor from 50s, 60s, and 70s. He passed away January 77, and he actually won the Oscar for Best Actor 2 months later, posthumously. So it was one first in history. But needless to say, and regarding the Oscars last night, who gives a shit? Okay. But you see what he was saying, ladies and gentlemen. You hear what he was saying. Okay. I'm mad as hell. I'm not taking this anymore, regardless of what the ratings say, regardless of the schemes say. People losing your jobs. And for what? Status quo. We've got Bill C-63 on the table right now that's going to be read in Parliament in regards to hate speech and crimes and all that good stuff, Online Harms Act. And what it's going to do, it's going to cost you money if you say something and somebody anonymous complains, the Human Rights Commission, doesn't matter if it's the province or the federal human rights, and you get prosecuted and persecuted and might have to pay a fine for speaking your mind. I'd be mad about that. Look at all the protests going on now against Israel and against Hamas. Look at all the protests that are happening for what's going on in the Middle East and Ukraine. We have a federal government that sits in its hands and takes a lot of money from you and me to tell us what to do. Okay. Same thing in the 70s. How many governments told other people what to do all the time? Doesn't matter if it's Pierre Elliott Trudeau who was Prime Minister of Canada at that time, or Jerry Ford, I believe, who was the United States president back in 76. I think just prior to Jimmy Carter being elected. So it puts things in perspective, ladies and gentlemen, especially people that were alive then. I was just a little boy, too young to really give a shit. I was just a little kid, but my parents were alive. My grandparents were alive. Look at the inflationary stats then, the unemployment rate then, the gas prices then, based on the earning power of the average person. Look what's going on now. All this is self-inflicted. This has nothing to do with you or me. These are the powers that be calling the shots for us. What we spend our money on, what we do, how we pick our nose, who we sleep with, all that good stuff, all in the name of progress. So I highly suggest people get out there and be mad as hell and to speak your minds.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this beautiful Tuesday rant with Crusty Canuck, episode 266. Yes, CBC pay hikes and more taxes. And I'm going to get the CBC part here in a second. And one more time, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe and share this content all over your social media platforms too. Do not forget to give me a comment or two. Engage a conversation, get the algorithm going so Canadian content can get out there to the masses, to every Canadian or anybody else in the world who wants to see it too. And I'm very grateful for the subscribers I have had recently, especially on Rumble. Thank you, Rumblers. Thank you, YouTubers. And thank you once again to the people at Podbean for downloading my show and spreading it all around. A round of applause for you all. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Special thank you out there to my friends at Northern Perspective, Radioreaction, Vesper, Marty up north, and all those great guys on the YouTube that put great channels and content out there. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. The more Canadians check out Canadian content, the easier it's going to be to stick it to the men and women out there who want to stifle and censor what we have to say, ladies and gentlemen. And it takes people, wonderful people like yourselves out there to make that happen. So please don't let the bloody assholes win. So as this Tuesday rant says, of course, CBC pay hikes and more bloody taxes. So here's a story I'll just read along from the National Post in regards to what the CBC is doing with our tax money yet again. Oh my, oh goodness. Yes. All these wonderful people that are trying to tell us once again how their jobs are so important and yet they fail to realize their irrelevance. But I digress anyway. So I'll just read this article along with you all here, and I'll leave this in my description for you to follow at your own leisure. And this is just a short minute read here. Okay. And this is from the fine people at National Post, basically dictating to all of us how important their jobs are because, they provide valuable information and all this good stuff. So CBC gives $15 million in bonuses and a few months later cut 800 jobs report. So CBC President, Chief Executive Officer Catherine Tate waits to appear at the Heritage Committee in Ottawa Tuesday. This is the past January. She was in Ottawa discussing her plight in her case. Just months after the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation announced it would be cutting 800 jobs, access to information records obtained by the Canadian Taxpayers Federation show the Crown Corporation handed out $14.9 million in bonuses last year in 2023. Since 2015, the CBC has issued $114 million in bonuses. According to the Federation, CBC President Catherine Tate is wrong to hand out bonuses while announcing hundreds of job losses and begging the government for more taxpayer cash, says CTF Federal Director Franco Tetrazzino. Tate won't do the right thing, so the Canadian Heritage Minister Pascal Saint-Onge needs to step up and shut down these bonuses. The records show that the CBC's 7,477 employees, 1,143 CBC staffers took home a bonus in 2023, totaling $14,902,755. Isn't that interesting, ladies and gentlemen? The bonus figure is only current to October 26, 2023, meaning the final tally for the year might be even higher, too. Little slaps and tickles for your pickles there. Oh, my goodness. Thanks for doing a great job. Here's a few extra $1,000 for the taxpayers for you. Oh, joy. Tate, who earns $497,000 per year, told the House of Commons Heritage Committee in January that the public broadcaster faces chronic underfunding and had to stretch limited resources to meet our mandate. Now, think about that. What exactly is the CBC mandate this day and age? Promote the Justin Trudeau brand, promote the Justin Trudeau brand, make mediocre television, promote the Justin Trudeau brand, make mediocre dramas, promote the Justin Trudeau brand. I think you get my point here, ladies and gentlemen. You're not morons. We're a hell of a lot smarter than that, CBC, right? Tate was called to testify on executive bonuses and planned layoffs to the public broadcaster. Shortly after her testimony, access to information records showed that between the 1st November 2021 and 1st November 2023, Tate billed for $119,309 in expenses, most of which was to attend international conferences and meetings. Yes. Tate added the bonus pay is a key part of the total compensation of our non-union staff, about 1,140 employees. Okay. A second document obtained by the CTF shows that the 2023-24 fiscal year, 6,575 employees have received raises totaling $11.5 million, while 1,450 CBC staffers earned six figures. God, maybe I should have gotten to CBC and do some shows there. Who knows, eh? I guess I'm not woke enough for their mandates. Ooh, please. Oh, my God. Anyway, after Tate's testimony, the Department of Canadian Heritage announced CBC's budget for 2024 and 25 would increase by $96 million to a total of $1.4 billion. So 1.2 last year and now 1.4 this year. Interesting, right? The $96.1 million increase was attributed mostly to salary increases following the ratification of collective agreements. And that's all, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave this link in my description for you. You can decide. You don't need to decide, but it's all bullshit. Taxpayer dollars, again, going to CBC. Helping who? Helping what? Helping you, me, right? Up-and-coming actors, up-and-coming producers, right? Comedians, sketch comedy. Ask yourself this. How many great shows does the CBC put on the air right now? How many great shows has the CBC had, let's say, over the past 10 years? Okay. You can think this hour has 22 minutes. Used to be decent sketch comedy. The Royal Canadian Air Force used to put on some decent comedy at one time, but half those individuals are now deceased or they just don't perform anymore. Okay, you had the likes of Schitt's Creek, which made Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara stars once again because of their accolades to Second City and their other bodies of work. It was an Emmy Award-winning show. That was good Canadian content. Winning some Emmys, that's fantastic. But is that the only thing that CBC has to offer? Based on what I have presented to you, my wonderful people, my wonderful fan base, do you not think they could take the time to make some really kick-ass effing drama? A kick-ass Western? A kick-ass show about Canadian history, a kick-ass comedy, a sitcom, a drama, a sci-fi extravaganza? No. They're too goddamn worried about counting their pennies and worrying about their bonuses and their image because they got to support the prime minister, right? That's the way I look at it. So all this taxpayer money going into what? Lining their pockets so they can lick other people's ashtrays. Oh, my God.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tuesday Rant with Crusty Canuck. That's right, CBC pay hikes and more taxes on the way. This is episode 266 of the Tuesday Rant. And if you like and hear what you see, ladies and gentlemen, please click like and subscribe. Share this content all over your social media platforms. Please give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, plus the likes, like, all that good stuff. My Rumblers too, please give me a comment. Thank you once again to my new subscribers on Rumble, YouTube, and Podbean. Thank yourselves. Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys are awesome. To my American listeners, thank yourselves, too, for giving a Canuck like me a chance. Please promote my work down south as well if you can. Anyway, carrying on with this episode. So we got taxes coming up. You've heard me rant and rave before about the whole tax scheme. I don't have many links. We've all seen it. We've all seen it in the fine print. Come April 1st, this fiscal year, our MPs are getting a big raise, okay? Another goddamn raise for subpar work. You heard me rant in the last episode how they get 6 weeks off for Christmas, 8.5 to 9 weeks off in the fucking summer, right? So that's 15 weeks, almost 16 weeks off. That's almost 4 months out of the year off when they should be running the country. God, it must be nice to have 4 months off a year. I haven't had a goddamn holiday in about 3 years, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Some of that's by personal choice. Some of it's because they couldn't afford it, right? And I'm not saying a lavish holiday in Cuba or Mexico or somewhere warm and sunny where I can have a margarita and sit by the beach and watch the dolphins play. No, I mean time off just to sit and get my shit together, where I can spend some time with my wife, go someplace nice, either amusement park or some kind of resort someplace just to chill out. But that's getting more difficult as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, right? But these clowns, they can do it, right? So carbon tax is going up again, right? I think another 16 cents for gasoline and up to 21 cents for diesel fuel. Diesel fuel, which is used to move the food to the grocery stores to feed our faces, which means that our prices are going up again when it comes to grocery costs and fuel costs. You know, when I commute to my job, it's about a 35-minute drive to and from. If I was to time it properly, about 38 minutes to and from. You know, follow the speed limit, pay attention to the road conditions, that kind of thing. 38 minutes to get to my job in a timely manner. So we'll say an hour 16 every day I spend traveling to my job. Okay. And that's going to cost me at least $25 in gasoline, which adds up. Now add the carbon tax. Oh, a few more bucks here and there too. Okay. So we're not seeing any tax relief here. We're not seeing any transparency here in regards to any kind of taxation whatsoever. Right. And it's been about 6 days since my last podcast, and I haven't received an email yet from any willing MP that wants to challenge me or debate me or to promote to me why they deserve this raise. You know, anyone? Bueller? Nobody wants to goddamn debate me on this. Not because they're scared or they just don't give a flying you know what. Well, it's self-explanatory then, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, the doors are still open out there. So if there's any federal MPs that happen to be listening or watching this podcast, I highly, highly recommend that you take the initiative and engage me in a good conversation with open and honest dialogue. And it's going to be a debate. And I want you to justify to me one more time, or justify to the masses, why you deserve this raise and what you're going to do to earn it and to promote democracy. We've seen Justin Trudeau time and time again talk about the pros and cons of democracy, the pros and cons, how we have to defend this democracy. And yet he doesn't want to defend the Canadian people for speaking their minds. He'll defend this group over here who will throw stones and protest outside of mosques, or correction, out of synagogues. And he'll promote people waving the certain flags, promoting this and promoting that in the Middle East. He'll also promote people using harsh language and racial slurs in regards to both sides of that conflict. But he doesn't like truckers, doesn't like Canadians protesting, doesn't like our military, right? And I've got tons of footage of Mr. Bill Blair, our defense minister, talking about adding more money to the defense budget, even though they cut $1 billion already, and they can't figure out why they can't get troops. Probably because leadership has gone to shit, ladies and gentlemen. It has. They've exchanged wokeism for practicality. They've exchanged so-called progression for pragmatism. Okay? And I could go on. I can make episode after episode about how they've treated our military, how they treated our troops, how they treated veterans. I just got off the phone today with Veterans Affairs trying to validate and justify things again on a yearly basis. Okay? Now, I'm not dissing my case manager. She's a wonderful human being. She has really gone out of her way. But it just seems every time, again, you got to validate. For what? For whom? They're not doing this for the taxpayers. They're doing this for their longevity. They're doing this for their egos. They're doing this to save face, just like our federal government. Got to keep saving face, right? Because they're afraid to own their shit. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any MPs out there listening or watching this podcast, contact me. We're going to have a little talk about these pay raises. And I want to hear and see what valid solution you have to earning something like that. Okay? When especially a lot of constituents in the ridings are struggling as we speak right now. Struggling to get ahead, struggling to get bills paid. Like I said in my last episode, I did have some savings tucked away, but no, we got to pay for a new furnace now. Right? It's that thing. Don't feel sorry for me. No, that happens. Shit happens. You know, if you want to donate, you can donate by your own leisure, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to sit and demand cash, but I want to see my work on this podcast get ahead too. Just like I want to see you all get ahead by your means, by your guts, and by your glory. You know, if you feel like donating to this show, please donate to this show. Every little bit helps, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to make this a full-time commitment if possible. There's other things I like to do full-time as well. But this podcast makes me feel good. And I like coming out and talking to you wonderful people because you've given me a platform and I want to keep that platform rocking and rolling and keeping you informed to the best of my ability. And it takes wonderful people like you to donate and make that happen. So if you can, chip in a few dollars here and there. I'm not going to demand anything. If you don't want to chip in, that's fine too, ladies and gentlemen. Please enjoy my content all the same. But I'm digressing. Carrying on with the whole, tax hikes. You've heard me rant about the CBC and global NCTV was getting, I think they still do get some government kickbacks, taxpayer dollars, doesn't matter, right? When we watch a broadcaster like the CBC, it used to be fun at one time. Now it sucks, right? My wife and I, we stream more often than anything. I'll download something off the net and we'll watch it, or we'll watch Prime, or we'll watch Netflix or something, right? News, I got news feeds on my cell phone. I listen to the news when I can. I watch the news first thing in the morning before I go to work just to get some insight and to formulate my own decision. And so should you, ladies and gentlemen. It shouldn't take a long time to do that. But you look at some of these media moguls and the mainstream media who is constantly harping for money. They get government money and they just toe the government line. Because any person knows that you don't bite the hand that feeds you, especially the hand that pays you. Right? So you're just going to do what the government says. Oh, fun times. Hey, fantastic. Yay, me. I've got a job. How about those Canadians that don't have a job? The federal government can brag all they want about 40,000 new jobs since January. How many of those jobs are private sector jobs? How many of those jobs were brought to you by the taxpayer? Yet again, how many bureaucrats and admins alike are gainfully employed because you and I working an extra 6 or 7 hours a day? Or an extra 6 or 7 hours a week, if you're pulling in 45 to 50 hours a week, like yours truly does. But hey, I'm digressing. Something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Something to really think about. Like I've said, I am trying to formulate this podcast where I can get 3 episodes up a week. So stay tuned to my community page for updates. Stay tuned to my Facebook page for updates too. Had some technical issues there too. Some issues with the Veterans for Freedom feed. I don't think it's up and running yet, but it will be sometime soon. I'm just playing email tag with the powers that be there to get some more insight, but you'll probably see my mug on the Veterans for Freedom network, which will be starting up soon. And we'll just go from there, ladies and gentlemen. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, but nonetheless, you'll see my mug here on the tube, on Rumble, Player FM, Podchaser, Apple, iHeartRadio, Supercast, and wherever you find your fine podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, look for the CRUSTY podcast. You'll find the podcast there. And listen and enjoy at your leisure, ladies and gentlemen. Anyhow, I've been CRUSTY CANUCK on this beautiful 12th of March, 2024. March break, I think, has come, or is it still coming? I don't know. I haven't had a March break in years, but it doesn't matter. Spring's on its way, so another 10 days, spring. I know the time adjustment has screwed a lot of people, spring ahead, fall back. Now we've sprung ahead. We got some more daylight, which means more work for everybody and less pay. Oh, must be nice, eh? Isn't that beautiful? Said nobody. But I still shake my head at some of the buffoonery that is presented to us on a daily basis. But all I can say is this, ladies and gentlemen, do what you can to help you out in these trying times. Just be yourselves. Keep our chins up. We shall persevere. We have to find the light in this manufactured darkness, regardless of how hard it's going to be. Just be good to people. Don't buy in this racist rhetoric that they keep throwing on our faces. Don't buy into this division. Stand up for what's right. Stand up for your fellow brother, sister. Doesn't matter how they identify. Just stand up nonetheless. Get out there and get mad. Just like Harry Beale said. Get mad. We're human beings. We do have value. We all have value, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start promoting it and stand by it. It's that simple. Like I say, I have been CRUSTY CANUCK on this beautiful 12th of March, 2024. I wish good things for you all. Look after your friends and loved ones. Do what you can to help you out in these trying times. And remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Stay tuned to my community pages and Facebook pages for update. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worth.
This has been another episode of the CRUSTY CANUCK podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the CRUSTY CANUCK podcast.
Oh, govern me harder. That's it. Harder. 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 Thank you.